You wake up in the morning, and before the day has even started, something already feels heavy. You haven't run a marathon, you haven't lifted anything, you haven't done anything physically exhausting. But somehow, by the middle of the day, you feel completely drained. You sit on your bed, you scroll through your phone, you stare at the ceiling. And then comes the question almost everyone secretly asks themselves: why am I so tired when I haven't even done anything? Most people think the answer is simple. Maybe you're lazy. Maybe you lack discipline. Maybe you're just wasting too much time. But psychology reveals something much more interesting. Sometimes the exhaustion you feel is not coming from what you are doing. It is coming from everything your mind has been carrying silently. Because the human brain does not only get tired from physical effort, it gets tired from constant prediction, emotional control, decision-making, self-monitoring, and fighting battles that nobody else can see. And the strangest part, the people who experience this the most are often the ones who look completely fine from the outside. They show up, they smile, they answer messages, they handle responsibilities. But internally, their brain has been running hundreds of invisible processes at the same time. Today, we're going to uncover the psychology behind why some people feel exhausted even when they appear to be doing nothing. And by the end, you might realize that your tiredness has been telling you something important. To understand this, we first need to understand one thing about the brain. Your brain is not only designed to react to the present, it is constantly trying to predict the future. Every conversation you replay, every possible mistake you imagine, every what-if scenario you create, your brain treats uncertainty like a problem that needs solving. This ability helped humans survive. Thousands of years ago, predicting danger meant survival. A person who noticed changes in their environment could avoid threats before they happened. But in the modern world, the same system can become exhausting. Instead of scanning for predators, your brain scans for emails you might have missed. Instead of preparing for physical danger, it prepares for conversations that haven't happened. Instead of asking, "Where is the threat?" it asks, "Did I say the wrong thing? What does that person really think about me? What happens if everything goes wrong?" The danger is no longer outside. It lives inside your thoughts. Psychologists call one part of this process cognitive load. Your brain has a limited amount of mental energy available at any moment. Every decision, every emotion you regulate, and every problem you analyze uses part of that capacity. Think of your mind like a computer. You might only have one window open on your screen, but in the background, there are dozens of programs running. One program is worrying about the future. Another is remembering the past. Another is trying to make everyone happy. Another is questioning whether you are doing enough. And even when you are sitting still, your brain is working overtime. That is why some people can spend an entire day resting and still wake up feeling mentally exhausted. Their body stopped moving. Their mind never did. But there is another reason this happens. Some people learn very early in life that being aware was necessary. They became experts at reading the room. They noticed changes in people's moods. They could tell when someone's voice sounded different. They learned to predict problems before they happened. From the outside, this can look like emotional intelligence, and sometimes it is. But for some people, it started as survival. A child who grows up in an unpredictable environment may learn to constantly monitor the emotions around them. They become a human alarm system. They study facial expressions. They analyze silence. They detect tension before anyone says a word. Over time, this ability becomes automatic. The same skill that once protected them can later become exhausting. Because the brain forgets how to turn the scanner off, this pattern appears in many psychology discussions about hyper-awareness, sensitivity, and childhood emotional experiences. The most interesting part is that these people often misunderstand themselves. They think, "Why can't I just relax? Why do I overthink everything? Why does everything affect me so much?" But the problem is not that their brain is weak. The problem is that their brain became extremely good at one specific job: finding meaning, finding patterns, finding possible problems. Their mind is not empty, it is crowded. So how do you escape this constant exhaustion? The first step is realizing that every thought does not deserve your attention. A powerful mind is not one that analyzes everything. A powerful mind is one that knows what is worth analyzing. You do not have to solve every possibility. You do not have to predict every outcome. You do not have to understand every person's behavior. Sometimes, peace comes from allowing unanswered questions to remain unanswered. Because a brain that is always searching for danger eventually forgets how to experience safety. The next time you feel tired without a clear reason, do not immediately ask, "What's wrong with me?" Ask a better question. What has my mind been carrying that nobody else can see? Because sometimes, exhaustion is not a sign that you are weak. Sometimes it is evidence that your mind has been working harder than anyone realizes. And learning to understand that mind might be the first step toward finally giving it rest.